Good evening, everyone. This is Diaspora Connect. My name is Simon Okelo, and you're watching One Vibe TV on YouTube. I'm here with my brother, Dunia Mapenzi Omari, who is, someone really special in the One Vibe circles in Seattle. Dunia is a producer, he's an artist, he's a man that wears very, very many different arts, and it's a privilege that tonight we are having Congolese dinner as part of the One Vibe African dinner series. The current 5 series are sponsored by Seattle Foundation, and let's just give them a big applause for making this possible. And the person that wrote the grant is here to really thank you for all the work. Now, Dunia, could you just walk us through what we ate tonight? We have no idea what we were eating.
Well, the person who cooked this meal, she's really young. She's only 17 years old. And yeah,
Wow.
she's only 17 years old. Wow. And so where she made what we call ugali in Swahili. Some people call it fufu. And also there was pondu. So that's a Lingala word for cassava leaves. That was the green salad you guys ate. And also there was a chicken. I think it was a fried chicken and goat meat. That was also fried goat meat. So that's what we ate.
Thank you very much. So, we met when we were both in Seattle already. I think we both moved to Seattle the same month.
Right.
I moved to Seattle from Kenya June 2010, and that's the same month that Dunia moved to Seattle. So
Yep.
we've experienced the immigration story in a very similar manner. And I just wanted you to walk us through, your journey from Congo to Tanzania. You were a refugee in Tanzania for a while, and we had World Refugee Day earlier this week. And how you ended up in Seattle.
So we left Congo, I believe it was in 2000, 2000, around that time, after our president was assassinated in the Congo.
Which president was this?
That was
Kabila?
Kabila, the father, Kabila Baba.
That's
The
Joseph Kabila.
The father of Joseph Kabila.
Okay, so that Loro Kabila.
Rolando Zire Kabila.
Okay.
Yeah. So we moved to Tanzania, and so we moved to different places. We lived a place called Tanga, which is in Tanzania.
It's right by Lake Victoria.
Yeah, no, this was actually next to Lake Tanganyika. So it's kind of like the closest to Congo. And then we lived in Kigoma. Then, there was opportunities, of course, in camp. So we also went for school. Because my parents wanted me to pursue French program. And in Tanzania, there wasn't a French program right there. But in Kigoma, there was a camp where they was teaching actually a French program there. So my parents want us to go there so we can actually pursue school there. Yeah, so, and that's how we ended up in Tanzania, in camp.
Then how did you leave Tanzania for Seattle? What are the circumstances that led you to show up here?
So, I'm always involved in a lot of programs, and, I'm always active. I think it's in my blood. Growing up, I love music, I love writings. So, I wrote this story, and this story was about how we treat our mothers in Africa, and this was Mother's Day in Tanzania. So there was a bunch of different leaders from different places in the world, and then so I was only 13 that time, and I wrote this story and present to other kids who was on my age and younger than me, and we played that as a play. So people loved it a lot. So some radio stations that was there and TV station that was there. So they actually called me and asked me if I can do some other episodes of the same kind of topics. So like how we treat kids and and stuff like that. So and that's how I got like a scholarship where they sent me to school and start learning about journalism. And after that, again, I came to those were the opportunity of coming here to US.
So what you wrote is what
Yeah,
brought you here.
well, that was the beginning of how I got here.
Okay.
So the UNHCR, I worked with World Vision, Tanzania, and we was helping kids, orphanage places, so disabled kids. So we wrote the names and then present them to UNHCR, and UNHCR will help them with gift or some clothes and different stuff in Tanzania.
So then, how did you connect with One Vibe? Because a lot of the time, people ask Kenju, people ask me, especially Africans and African Americans who are our age mates, how can I be involved with One Vibe? What can I do there? Could you just tell us your story, how you connected with One Vibe?
Sure. I mean, I'm always involved again in activities, and I often run with Simon, and he's doing his stuff, and I'm doing my things. We'll talk and be like, hey, we should link up and talk and see what we can do. So one time was a Miss Kenya, Washington, I believe, where we actually spoke, and he gave me his phone number, and I gave him my phone number, and he was like, it was on Saturday, so he was like, I'll call you tomorrow at 8 a.m. That was on Sunday. And I was like, okay, let's talk tomorrow then. So he called me on Sunday, and then we thought we could meet so we can talk and see what we can do. And that was the beginning of this Avol night. That was the beginning of what we can do. We talked about, I was telling him that I have this idea of doing acoustic live, which is like a show where people can be having meal and someone can be performing with just a guitar live, so people can watch the person, performing. And so he told me like, yeah, we was doing the same thing a couple of years ago, so we can actually continue doing that. So that was the beginning again of bringing this event live.
Thank you very much. To our audience, we are privileged to have a live audience today. I just wanted you guys to, give Dunia a big applause because the current he's literally leading the production of the current 5 dinners that we're doing. And one of the things I'm very passionate about is putting one of our people in a leadership position and guiding them and mentoring them until they become a leader and they feel successful. So I want to thank Kenju and everybody in our team for backing off and pushing this gentleman to a place where he currently is. So thank you for being a risk taker as well. Now, the Congo is thought to be right in the center of the African continent. Right. And everybody that has a cell phone here, there is an ingredient in your cell phone called coltan that is from the Congo. So without, the Congo, we would have no cell phone. Do you guys know about that? Yes. So coltan, we want to dig deep a little bit and just learn how far was your village from where they're mining coltan? And how were you impacted by it,
Growing up, I grew up, it was kind of like maybe 25 minutes driving to Goma, which is like a most effective place in Eastern Congo. That's like the border between Congo and the Rwanda, which also was effective for genocide. So there was a lot of Rwandan people who flew from Rwanda to Congo. And a lot of those, they came through Goma, and then they went to the eastern part of the Congo. And that's where I was born. That's where I grew up. So there was a war during that time. There was fighting, and so there was rebels. That decided, because the government at that time looked like it wasn't doing anything about the war that came. There was a couple like a Ugandan and Rwandan soldiers, and we don't know the reason why that war came up. But it was all connected to when the Roland Desire Kabila, who was the president at that time, came to take over from Mobutu Sese Seko Kukungwendu Wazabanga, who was a dictator for more than 40-something years in the Congo. So when he came with a lot of soldiers from Rwanda and from Uganda, and they had some agreement how they're gonna run the Congo. When he became a president, he told them, no, I don't need you guys. This is my country and you guys can go back to your country. So that was part of he broke some of the agreement that they did. And so when the rebel came and raised up in Eastern Congo, there was a lot of young kids that actually joined the rebels.
By the way, why is it that you didn't become a rebel? Why is it that you ran away?
It was a chance. It was actually a chance. I did almost try to go twice. The first time, me and one of my neighbor, who's my friend, that time I was only maybe 9 years old, 8 to 9 years old, maybe 10. And we went to join the rebels. And when we was going there, it was a little bit far walking. So when we was going there, we met 2 other rebels that was coming in the city. And they would ask us questions, where you guys are going? So we knew if we tell them the truth, they'll bring us back. So we lied to them. And we was like, oh, we just looking for fruits. There's a lot of mangoes right here around. And they kind of sense it because they know there's a lot of kids that was joining the rebels. So they stopped us and then ask us questions. And we ended up accepting that we was going to join them. So they took us back and they took me to my dad. And they told my dad, you need to take good care of these kids. They're trying to join the rebel. And this is not the right time because there's a lot of anger, people are dying, and there's no place to sleep. So that was the first time. And then there was one of my cousin. She also wanted to be a rebel. So she told me she met this commander-in-chief of the rebel, and he's gonna be coming in town, so we should go so we can live with the guy. So we went, and when we went, I don't know if it's a good or bad luck. I think it's good luck. So the guy didn't come. There was a different person. And she told me this guy is not a good person. We have to wait for the next time when the other commander comes. And so after a couple weeks, I was called by my uncle that I need to leave to go to different place, different city. And then while I was there, after like 1 year, I was going to a river and I saw this girl who looked like my cousin. So I called her name and she looked and she saw me and she screamed, Dunia! So she came running to me and I hugged her and she was already a rebel. We heard a lot of stories about her. She was fighting with 2 guns where she was only maybe 10, 11 years old.
Wow.
And she was scary, everyone. She introduced me to the entire rebel and no one even asked questions. That's how they were scaring of her.
Man, if you see somebody in Seattle, you should respect them. You don't know what they went through before they came here.
Yeah.
But the other thing about the Congo is that the Congo is not, any mineral you can think about is in the Congo. So it's probably one of the richest countries in the world, but it's literally being raped, The Western countries are raping the Congo and they're taking everything away. But the other thing that the Congo has that is, huge is music. Growing up, a lot of Congolese bands during the war, they moved to Kisumu, my hometown. I remember one time my uncle was a photographer and Franco Luambo Makiadi. Franco came to a stadium in my hometown and, as kids, my uncle, as the photographer, was preparing and we knew about the build up to the show. Then the stadium filled up, the crowd outside was bigger than the crowd inside. And then when Franco hit the people, they pushed the wall of the stadium and it went down and people, like tens of thousands of people went and the concert was like historic.
Wow.
How do you say I love you in Lingala?
Nalingio.
Nalingio.
Yeah, I love you, Nalingio.
Can you just give us a line in the Congo, because you're an artist, a line in Lingala? Mario,